Thor came back! He took Jane to Asgard! I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do! It's Harmless Phosphorescence! Hello everybody! This is Thor Smiley, and you must be truly desperate to come to me for help. Who's joining me this week?
I'm Josh Cece, and I want to show you my Grodenheim.
It's not that I don't love our little talks, it's just that I'm Brian Lesh.
I'm Alaric Weber, still all muscly and everything. Well, wiry, anyway.
This is Harmless Phosphorescence. Is that the Charles Grodenheim?
Yes, it is. Yes. Made it better.
This is the podcast where we watch every theatrically released. Is Anaheim the 10th realm?
Oh my God, I had a joke set up so well.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
No, it's not this.
Okay. This is the superhero movie podcast. We watch every theatrically released full-length live-action superhero movie ever made. We gather research into the production and the source material, then we tell you all about it. This show is brought to you by our patrons. Patrons like executive producers Michael Beckwith and Atticus Burkett. You could be a patron too. Head over to patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. We got lots of bonus content there. We got Star Wars shows, holiday shows, music shows. We got them coming out weekly. We've got monthly movies where we do a non-superhero movie every month. That done is only $1 to listen to. So, Patreon.com/harmlessentertainment is the way to go. This week, though, on Harmless Phosphorescence, we are watching Thor, The Dark World.
After all this time, now you come to visit me, brother. Why? To mock.
I need your help. But I wish I could trust you.
If you did, you'd be the fool I always took you for.
Some believe that before the universe, there was nothing. They're wrong. There was darkness, and it has survived.
What's gonna happen?
I gave you my word. I would return for you.
You face an enemy, known only to a few.
Known only to one.
You must be truly desperate to come to me for help.
If we do nothing, they will destroy us.
You even think about betraying him.
And I'll kill you. That was from New York.
I like her.
Thor, your bravery will not ease your pain. Your family, your world will be extinguished.
We're running out of time.
The very fabric of reality will be torn apart.
I'll find a way to save us all.
All yours.
Anyone else?
Thor, The Dark World. Yes, indeed. The Thor, The Dark World was released November 8th, 2013. It has a running time of 112 minutes, rated PG-13. It cost $170 million, and it took in $644 million. So it was indeed a hit. Not Avengers level or even Iron Man 3 level, but it did all right.
Yeah.
It's another situation like Iron Man 2. Like if either of those had flopped, the trajectory would have totally changed.
Yeah.
I know that's saying it simply as I just heard it, but you know what I mean. Like they were both sort of.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this one was. I mean, it was the first. It was like the return of Thor after the Avengers, and it was very, like, so there was definitely disappointment expressed by executives at $644 million. I think they were hoping for $1 billion, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean like as a flop, I guess, but yeah.
But
they're both sort of subpar sequels compared to their first ones.
Yeah, absolutely. And
whereas like Winter Soldier, I thought was a step up.
I don't think there's a bad Captain America movie as far as that trilogy goes, personally. But
same.
I think all three of those are pretty rock solid. Whereas Thor and Iron Man both have some weaker entries. I think that this movie being underperforming slightly is kind of what made them decide, well, let's just give it to Taika Waititi and let him do what he's going to do.
And it was beautiful.
Yeah, because that overperformed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they
that
invested
exceeded all expectation.
Yeah.
Yeah, in every possible way. That Ragnarok is, it's one of my favorite MCU movies. It is so good.
We're going to talk about Ragnarok a lot while we talk about the Dark World. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Well, it's so funny that we took so long, talking about Asgard and what we thought it was, and they basically told us in this one.
Yeah, it's just a place you can go. It's just a place. It's a big.
Yeah, it's a planet. Yeah, they had starships appear.
I mean, maybe it's
down.
Yeah, exactly. Well, all that.
Yeah. Did anyone else think that it felt sometimes like a Star Trek movie?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, tonally and like visually, it looks like a Star Trek movie.
In a lot of ways.
Obviously, everything in Asgard with Natalie Portman reminds us of Phantom Menace and shit. Like her out on balconies over these,
Yeah. Well, it was
slightly magical looking structures.
Yeah, it was visually, and it was gorgeous. I mean, this movie looks really good, but it was as far as the visual effects go, it was kind of like somewhere. It was like someone mashed up the prequels with the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of fantasy elements. I mean, with the elves and like that stuff at the beginning.
Yeah.
There's not enough cosmic, and there's too much fantasy.
And then there's sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Very much like like the dark elves ships that are basically B-wings.
Yeah. Massive and travel through space. Yeah.
But we'll get to that. In the meantime, though, guys, it's time for us to get into the box office top 10 game.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go, everybody. It's the game where I am going to count down the top 10 movies of the week of November 8th, 2013, using only the descriptions that are given to me from Box Office Mojo. And the guys here are going to try to guess what movie I am describing. So I'm going to... There was a lot of movies that opened this week, like an insane amount of movies that opened, but none of them are in the top 10 except for Thor, which is number 1, of course. Wow. But I'm just going to really quickly, opening this week, Billy and Buddy, Remnants, Best Man Down. Best Man Down.
Best Man Down. Best Man Down.
We never leave a man behind at the reception.
People of a Feather, the 2013 re-release of Approved for Adoption.
What? It got more confusing with each word.
Right? That is Oh, I see. It's a Korean anime. So I imagine this was the American theatrical release.
All right. Free pass.
Opening at number 90, Finding Mr. Right, which... At number 79, Go for Sisters. Number 76, At Berkeley. Number 71, The Ghosts in Our Machine.
Presented by the Maytag Company.
Yeah, at
Our machine is a Keurig.
Yeah. That's sorcery.
At number 57, Reaching for the Moon. And opening at number 51, The Armstrong Lie, which I'm pretty sure is a
flat earther thing?
No, okay. I thought it was going to be like an anti-moon landing like propaganda thing, but it's just about it's a documentary talking shit about Lance Armstrong, not Neil.
Oh, it's not the Stretch Armstrong movie.
The Stretch Armstrong. That movie just goes on and on and on.
Number 50, How I Live Now. Opening at number 34,
yeah.
Great Expectations. There was a 2013 Great Expectations movie?
Aren't there always?
They thought it was going to do better.
At number 32, The Book Thief. I did not realize that movie didn't do very well.
Yeah, what year is this? I'm sorry.
2013. And
That sounds like 90s movies titles.
So that brings us to the top 10. So at number 10 this week. Oh God. Okay. So Flint Lockwood.
Yes.
Now works at the Live Core Company for his idol Chester. But he's forced to leave his post when he learns that his most infamous machine is still operational and is churning out menacing creations.
Just Chester? Like Madonna?
Well, Chester V, but...
Okay.
It's the Terminator movie?
No.
Yeah, is this like Blade Runner, but set in like a Chuck E. Cheese?
This is
Is it that?
It is a sequel. It is not Blade Runner at Chuck E. Cheese. Which, have you guys seen that Chuck E. Cheese Nicolas Cage movie? I can't remember what it's called.
Oh, yeah, I haven't watched it yet. It's on Netflix.
Yeah. Apparently, it's kind of amazing because he plays like a night like janitor or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like a Five Nights at Freddy's thing. He has to fight demonic like Chuck E. Cheese things that came to life. But then apparently the bit is that he has like 0 lines. He's completely silent. And at any point he's on the clock. So at any point like his like watch will start beeping and he'll just go on break like in the middle of battling demonic creatures.
And of course he wouldn't talk, right?
Yeah, of course.
There's nobody there to listen. And you don't want to give away your location. They'll come over and sing happy birthday.
So anyways, this movie is a sequel and it's animated. I think it's DreamWorks.
This isn't The Croods Part 2, is it?
No, that is coming out this year.
Crude and rude.
Cloudy with the Chance of Meatballs too.
Oh, always.
I was going to guess that, but I didn't realize it was that long ago.
Yeah, the second one was 2013. So,
First thought is your best.
Number 9. Oh, I like this movie. At the age of 21, Tim discovers he can travel in time and change what happens and has happened in his own life. His decision to make his world a better place by getting a girlfriend turns out not to be as easy as you might think.
I just want to say that when I turned 21, I also learned time travel.
But it was only for like...
It was alcohol-based.
Yes.
Wake up and it's tomorrow.
Yep, exactly.
Is this about time?
It is about time. And you get about a point.
I never saw this. You said it's good?
Yeah. I recommend it. It's way better. It's way better than it seems like it should be. It's not.
How does it compare to like In-Game or Back to the Future?
It's actually probably closer to
Time After Time. That was recently put up on streaming. Do you remember that one?
Vaguely.
Is that another time traveling movie?
It's H.G. Wells, yeah.
The Cyndi Lauper movie.
Biopic.
Yeah, this one is like it's oh god, it's time travel. The time travel is really just a means to like the dramatic ends. It's not really about the time travel.
Oh,
I think most of them are, yeah.
Yeah. What was that one that came out? That was that indie movie from like 10 or so years ago, where They like had a time machine in their garage, and they kept fucking it up.
This was based on a true story, but it's like a safety not guaranteed.
Not that one. Oh, that was a good movie.
Not
though.
that one.
That was a good movie. That was Aubrey Plaza, wasn't it?
She was in that in the Duplass.
Yeah. But it was what was that one?
It's not the one with Joseph Gordon-Levitt playing Bruce Willis.
No,
Looper.
Looper.
Lupa. He's a Lupa. Caddy.
God, what was it? It was Oh, did you guys see Palm Springs?
Nope.
That was a pretty good. It was a Groundhog's Day movie, but with Andy Samberg and that one chick who's in everything that looks a lot like Linda Cardellini. I don't remember what that movie was called that I'm trying to think of, but I will at some point off the air. So coming in at number 8. The true story of okay, there's no way to describe this without telling you what it is. The true story of the 2009 hijacking by Somali pirates of the U.S. flagged MV Maersk, Alabama.
Captain Phillips.
Captain Phillips. That was the first American cargo ship to be hijacked in 200 years.
Yeah.
Since piratey pirates.
I never saw that movie, but I remember of course, the news story. Yeah, so wild.
Yeah,
it was actually pretty great. The dude who plays the pirate is phenomenal. He's so good.
I've seen him in other stuff since then.
I mostly just know the meme. Look at me meme, yeah.
I never saw the Sully Sullenberg movie.
Yeah, I never saw that.
There's a weird run of movies for Tom Hanks.
Was he Sully also?
Yeah.
I think so.
Why was he constantly playing old dudes? Like old captains in true stories.
It speaks to that, people have said this before, but it speaks to that Jimmy Stewart sort of quality.
Absolutely.
He has.
Absolutely. All right. So in the antebellum United States, Solomon Northrop, a free black man from upstate New York, is abducted and sold into slavery.
12 years.
12 years a slave. And y'all get 12 points apiece.
You colonizer.
Yesterday, Jude says we're recording this Sunday, September 12th, by the way. Yesterday, Jude wakes up, comes out of his room and says, "Happy 9/11."
Yeah, that's as appropriate a response as anything.
Right? Yeah. If you weren't, that's.
Yeah. Other than posting like memes on your social media, what do we say? What do we say about it?
The 650,000 United States citizens that have died in the last 18 months have really put that in perspective.
It just goes to show how dramatic it has to get for people to be like, huh?
Mm-hmm. Anyways, number 6. 2 astronauts work together to survive an accident in space.
Gravity,
yeah.
I think I saw all these movies. What was I doing this week? Going to the movie theater every day?
It would appear so. Gravity was a good movie. It was fine.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Sandy Bullock is Sandy Bullock.
One of my favorite hallucination scenes in a movie ever.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was
spoiler alert.
Yeah. Number 5. A young man is recruited by the international military to lead the fight against an insectoid alien race.
The international military?
The international military.
Yeah,
to fight against an insectoid alien race.
Ender's Game.
It is Ender's Game.
No, it's not Starship Troopers.
Yes, Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. Only the maybe 3rd most problematic sci-fi writer of the 50s and 60s.
He's Mormon, I'm pretty sure.
That would make sense. I mean, he's no L. Ron Hubbard, but
he's no L. Ron.
He's got some issues.
I will say though, as a kid reading Ender's Game and Ender's Shadow and like Speaker of the Dead or whatever, I had a teacher who was obsessed with them. I was like, these are kind of cool.
No.
Visually, they're cool. But yeah, reading anything else, it's like, what the hell is going on?
The Ender series I liked quite a bit as a kid. I was a big. Yeah, I definitely read those and enjoyed them.
Particularly Ender's Shadow. It is a very creative idea.
Is that the one?
You're seeing Ender's story from the outside perspective of Bean, which is an awful name for a character.
Bean or Bean?
Bean.
Bean, as in Mr.
Yeah, Mr.
Number 4 this week. 2 turkeys.
Jive turkeys or regular?
Oh, this was a Thanksgiving movie. Okay. 2 turkeys.
I should hope.
2 turkeys from opposites. I forgot. This is November we're talking about. From opposite sides of the tracks. Must put aside their differences.
Wait,
it gets better.
Turkeys invented steam technology?
To team up.
And do they have a caste system?
And travel back in time.
They travel in time? That would be terrible.
To change the horse of history and get turkeys off the Thanksgiving menu for good.
It's Turkeys 3, Turkeys in Time.
And to this day, we don't have owls on Thanksgiving.
The Turkey Outsiders disappear Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's a fantastic improv suggestion.
And the poster
Turkish Thanksgiving.
The poster says in big letters above the picture and above the title, on November 1st, hang on to your nuggets.
At least it doesn't say get stuffed.
There are no turkey nuggets, I'd like to point out. Turkey nuggets are not a thing.
They're the size of a teacup saucer.
This is called Free Birds.
Ugh, I hate it even more.
Story.
And I guarantee you, in the third act, Freebird plays out.
Oh, absolutely. You probably, as they're going like in slow motion or something, like turkeys can't fly, and then they fly, and it's like,
oh my god.
You can see it. You can see the scene.
This movie writes itself.
Yeah.
Man. We should. Okay. What was this? 2013.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm adding this to my 2013 list.
I've seen turkeys fly.
I mean, they fly up into trees and shit. They're terrifying.
Well, I seen a house fly. Number 3. 86-year-old Irving Zisman takes a trip from Nebraska to North Carolina to take his 8-year-old grandson Billy back to his real father.
Zisman. I don't even like. Yeah.
Oi, my back hurts.
It's Bad Grandpa.
I have to pee again.
The zany Zismans. What is it?
Bad Grandpa.
Oh, his last name was
Grandpa.
Zisman.
Yes.
I thought you said Bat Grandpa.
Bat.
That was even more fun.
That explains. A long time ago, my buddy and I used to play Halo in the middle of the night in Hawaii, and we played against a guy whose name was Zisman, and I will never forget it because we kept getting rematched with him, and he won for hours and hours. Like, we couldn't sign off because we had to kill just this one person, but his name, I will never forget it, was Zisman. It's Bad Grandpa.
Huh.
That's probably what he named himself after. It's around the same era. That's really funny.
Huh. It's funny the references you get so much later.
I've always wondered where that came from.
That. Yeah.
I still will shout Zisman in the air from time to time.
Oh my
God!
god!
Ends with the man, so he could be your supervillain.
Yeah,
Zisman.
How? Okay, so number 2, a movie that I am only just learning exists. Four friends take a break from their day-to-day lives to throw a bachelor party for their last remaining single pal, starring Michael Douglas, Robert De Niro, Morgan Freeman, and Kevin Kline.
Oh, they go to Vegas.
Is this Roadhogs?
No,
it's not Roadhogs. No. Good guess, though.
Travolta
like
and
Vegas stays in Vegas.
It's called Last Vegas.
No, I thought it was called Swinging Balls.
Do you think they all die of old age at the end of the movie?
That would be the most satisfying.
It would. Sometimes I had to explain to Jude the other day that there was a point when Robert De Niro and Albert Pacino were considered America's greatest living actors. And he was like, but like
the guy from the Fockers?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
It is weird. Producers said about Mean Streets that they thought De Niro was a mental patient that Scorsese had just gotten out for the weekend.
He wasn't.
No, he was a friend of his and a stage actor.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, that guy's psycho. He's not an actor. It's real. And then he's like, this is my cat, and this is Ben Stiller. And here we are.
Yeah, no, there came a point in the early 2000s where De Niro and Pacino both were just like, what if we just take every script offered to us and make a lot of money?
Well,
and Al Pacino said, hooah!
I bet it's weird when you're not sure how long you're going to live. Like when the stakes are much higher.
Right.
Then you're like, huh.
I might die making Las Vegas. Let's do it.
And then you live.
Thought Heat was a big deal.
Yeah, and then
now we're in everything together.
Yeah, exactly. And then you live long enough that an entire generation knows you as the Meet the Fockers guy.
You live long enough to see yourself become the grandpa.
It's true. You either die the De Niro or live long enough to see yourself become the Focker.
I know. The Cape Fear De Niro.
Oh my God.
The Focker De Niro.
Oh my God. That's crazy. It's what's especially crazy is those two movies are only 12 years apart.
What's crazy is that it wasn't scripted that he licked Juliette Lewis's face. That was an improv.
He didn't even know they were filming.
Yeah. She was very shocked.
And at number 1, when the Dark Elves attempt to plunge the universe into darkness, Thor must embark on a perilous and personal journey that will reunite him with Dr. Jane Foster.
So that could have been about...
I thought it was going to say Dr. Jane Goodall.
That'd be even funnier. But not only does Dark Elves sound like a black metal band, but then you throw in Thor, which is,
yeah,
that's the region for black metal. Yeah.
Like,
what is this? They even looked like a black metal band with their masks.
Yeah, they did. So, all right, that is our box office top 10 for the week, which means it's time to talk about our character and comic book background. Mr. Alaric Weber, wow us.
I hope to do so. Thank you, Brian, for reminding me that I was supposed to do this, because he mentioned at work yesterday seeing Malekith in comics somewhat recently. Look back. Malekith the Accursed, ruler of the Dark Elves of Svartalfheim.
Which, by the way, Svartalfheim is literally just Norwegian for dark elf home. Svart as in like for the German Schwarz, black. Elf, Heim, home.
Yeah. And which was one of the 9 realms from Norse mythology. So Marvel didn't make that up themselves. This character was created by Walt Simonson and first appeared in Thor number 344 in June of 1984.
Wow.
Primarily
What's the name of his realm again?
Svartalfheim.
Svartalfheim.
So
you take the 10 west, and then you get on the 101 north.
People only ever go to Svartalfheim for Disneyland.
Yeah, it's really the only reason it exists.
Malekith the Accursed was primarily an antagonist to Thor, but has also appeared in comics such as X-Force, Heroes for Hire, The Incredible Hercules, and I believe Iron Man.
How do you get that moniker, the Cursed? Seems like it'd have to come from experience. And I wouldn't make him king.
Let's take a look back. Malekith was born the 13th son of a 13th son, and
In Schenectady, New York.
And to Lady Mazerat of the Black Bile clan, known as the Lords of the Wild Hunt for their use of war dogs.
Ooh.
After all of his brothers, uncles, and father died in war with the trolls, his mother assured Malekith he would not have to die a soldier.
The trolls.
The trolls.
She then sold him to the Undertaker elves of the southern swamps for 2 sacks of snake livers and half a barrel of pickled toads.
I love that.
For her war dogs.
Two sacks of snake livers, not one.
That's what we should call the Gulf Coast states. What was it again? The something swamp?
The southern swamps?
The southern swamp.
Before that.
2 sacks of snake livers and a barrel of what? Pickled what?
Half a barrel of pickled toads.
Half a barrel of pickled toads.
Not a full barrel.
Somebody's been dipping in my pickled toad.
Malekith worked as a corpse burner for the Undertaker elves until he was captured by trolls.
It's not much, but it's honest work.
Yeah.
This guy really started from the bottom, man. 13th son of a 13th son corpse burner.
He's like Robert Johnson, like going down to the crossroads.
In prison, he met a wizard who helped him in troll prison. He met a wizard who helped him escape and took him on as an apprentice.
He met a wizard.
A wizard
who helped him escape.
They helped each other escape.
His name was Randolph.
Randolph. Some shall pass.
Randolph the Ray. I don't know. Randolph the Maroon.
Randolph the Russet.
Yes.
The Russet.
He's a potato. Potato wizard. I guess that fits with the.
It's a color
from
too.
Ireland.
In Elfish, it's potato.
In the centuries that followed, Malekith surpassed his master in magical ability. When the
corpse burning.
When the wizard desired to combine their powers to end the wars, Malekith turned on him, being forged in war and existentially opposed to peace.
He is just for the war. He's like, I don't care who's fighting. I'm pro-war, man.
Yeah.
I'm a conscientious participator.
He vowed to his wizard master that as long as he existed, war would also exist.
He's like, war? What is it good for? Me!
He's like, it's a living.
It's not corpse burning. But
no, it is.
Oh yeah, it is.
Freelance.
It's like, industrial scale corpse burning.
He's like, if I burn them before they're dead, then I get ahead of the backlog.
Which was missing from Dark World. All of these elements.
Yeah.
I believe Malekith did burn several corpses before they were actually corpses.
Damn, he loves his work.
Yeah. The dying wizard scarred his face with a spell, turning half of his face black.
Randolph.
Did it too.
You can call him by his name. It's okay.
Scarred his.
We all know who he is. We know.
You're outing him.
Malekith then returned to his former home, fed his mother to her war dogs, and took the mantle of Lord of the Wild Hunt.
Better than Cursed. But, wow. Jack your mom like that? With her own war dogs?
Man.
Silence grips the air.
Yeah.
In one of his first dust-ups with Thor, Malekith took possession of the Casket of Ancient Winters. He destroyed it before being defeated by Thor, releasing the casket's magical frigid force all over Earth.
I'm going to release that shit all over Earth.
It's going worldwide.
Malekith became king of the Dark Elves by means of a murder campaign in which he killed any Dark Elf not loyal to him.
Murder campaign. Vote for me, I murder.
Do you want to murder as your king?
Are you
pro war?
Well,
that would work.
Yeah, for real though. Well, I mean, we make the joke, if the last guy shot a guy on, what was it?
Fifth Avenue,
no one would give a shit.
Oh, that was it turns out that was actually an understatement.
Yeah.
Malekith has all the normal attributes of a dark elf, but his abilities are above average for one of his race. He possesses superhuman intellect, strength, speed, stamina, durability, agility, and reflexes.
Anything else?
Malekith's magic powers include teleportation, energy projection, physical malleability, flight by transforming into mist, illusion casting, and the ability to change the shape and appearance of other beings or objects.
And then?
Like all dark elves, Malekith has a vulnerability to iron, which disrupts or cancels his magical spells.
And a penchant for drama.
Yes.
And then? So he doesn't have genius level intellect?
No, just superhuman.
Yeah.
Is superhuman better than genius?
I don't know.
Depends on how super.
Maybe it's not enough to be
Batman
genius.
is smarter than Superman, but Superman can laser Batman to death.
Yes.
Not so smart now.
Look who's so smart now.
Moving on to Algren the Strong. He was the most powerful of the Dark Elves. He is coerced by Malekith to battle Thor. While battling, Malekith opens a pitfall beneath the combatants, attempting to plunge them into a pool of lava.
He was the dude from Gwar?
Yeah.
Yes.
The prison break guy?
Yeah.
Thor flies away using Mjolnir, while Algrim falls. His life is saved by his enchanted armor, yet he is critically injured and develops partial amnesia and an obsessive desire for revenge.
And a really bad case of psoriasis.
Algrim Falls, beautiful.
Algrim is later healed by the cosmic entity the Beyonder, who transforms him into an even more powerful entity called Curse with a K.
With a K. He's like, look, I got copyright issues. The Beyonder.
So he has like a blood vendetta against Malekith in the comics?
Eventually, yes. First, the Beyonder sends him to battle Thor, and in the course of battling Thor, Beta Ray Bill, and Power Pack, Curse is aided by Thor in remembering that it was Malekith who was responsible for his current suffering.
Aided by Thor. Thor was like, hey, it was Malekith, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember Power Pack? I'd forgotten about them.
Yeah.
Wonder if they'll be revived. Powerful kids. Oh, I guess they did the Runaways. Anyways, Malekith and his crew.
After presumably killing Malekith, Curse is granted Asgardian citizenship.
Do you have to go to the swearing in ceremony?
Yeah, you have to remember all the previous kings of Asgard.
Well,
One,
yeah, the one previous
Thor, Odin. You're in.
That's two.
That's two. He is designated the guardian of the children of Asgard after helping protect Volstag's children during a plague.
So apparently he's the one guy who stuck up for kids because he got the fucking name.
The rest of the Asgardians are like, we don't really care about kids.
No, I think the rest of it was during the plague. The rest of the Asgardians were like, why do we need masks? Won't our natural immunity?
I'm the god of thunder, but not antibiotics.
I'm going to let my body do what it's naturally supposed to do.
Curse loyally serves Asgard until the time of Ragnarok, at which point all the Asgardians except Thor apparently perish.
Yeah.
That was a bummer.
Other Asgardians in this film include Ymir, the physician lady, based on the Norse goddess, or Valkyrie, associated with medical skill. We see Bor, father of Odin, and it's not really clear, but he is named. We got Tyr, the Asgardian god of war, after whom Tuesday is named. He is another blood son of Odin, along
Is there
with
a worse day than Tuesday?
Thor and Balder. What?
Sorry. I said, is there a worse day than Tuesday?
Oh.
Yeah.
I argue it's worse than Monday.
That's when I go to war every week.
I know, but you expect it to be bad. Tuesday has no hope. There's still so many days ahead.
There really are. Tuesday's pretty bad. Wednesday, I'm not a big fan of Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, honestly.
Yeah. A month of Sundays, please.
That's all I got for our comic and Norse mythology research.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Al. So Thor the Dark World. It was written by Christopher Yost, Don Payne, Robert Rodat, Christopher Marcus, and Stephen McFeely. Yes, 5 people had to write this thing. Which that explains a lot about this movie. Apparently, Don Payne did the first original draft of this. He was we last spoke about Don Payne on Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, and previously on My Super Ex-Girlfriend. So,
if I ever became the head of a mafia, I would want my name to be Don Payne.
Yeah.
Oh, Don Payne.
Don Payne, his longest stint was writing The Simpsons. He did that from 2000 to 2013.
Oh.
We also, so he did a script. Then Robert Rodat did a separate script. Robert Rodat was the sole writer on Saving Private Ryan. He also then went on to write The Patriot, Fly Away Home, and the film adaptation of Warcraft.
He also vowed against peace.
Yeah.
Like Malekith.
They then had Christopher Yost come in and combine these 2 scripts. Christopher Yost, he did like a lot of like Marvel animated stuff, Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. He did a lot of comic book writing. He wrote for Target X, New X-Men, Scarlet Spider. On screen, he also has a writing credit on Max Steel and Thor Ragnarok. He's currently the head writer for the live action Cowboy Bebop that's coming out this year. So after he combined those 2 scripts, the studio still wasn't happy, so they brought in Marcus and McFeely to do a pass on the script. Marcus and McFeely, of course, we last saw in Captain America: The First Avenger. We'll see them many times coming up. They have writing credits on Guardians of the Galaxy, Captain America: Civil War, Captain America: Winter Soldier, Infinity War, and Endgame. They got their start with The Life and Death of Peter Sellers and then the Narnia movies.
That was an interesting movie. The Life and Death
of Peter Sellers.
Yeah.
So this movie was really, really written by committee, and you can tell every step of the way.
They all got into the octagon.
Yeah. It was originally given to director Patty Jenkins.
Really?
Who, after reading the script and working on it for a couple months, stepped out and later said that she didn't believe she could make a quality film with the script provided.
Ouch.
Yeah. She may have phrased it a little more, diplomatically than that.
She made 5 enemies that day.
Yeah. But basically she was like, this is a bad script. It
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, good on her.
Yeah. So then they brought in Alan Taylor, who mostly worked on TV. 6 Feet Under, Game of Thrones, a lot of HBO stuff. He did some West Wing work, Carnival, Deadwood, Lost. He was a big, big television director. Did a lot of prestige TV directing. This is let's see. he directed The Emperor's New Clothes, which I didn't realize was a movie. After Thor: The Dark World, he would go on to direct Terminator Genesis. Yes. So he has a lot of really good television work and a lot of really bad, well, a little bit of really terrible film work. Kenneth Branagh, of course, just passed straight away saying he wasn't going to return. Our cast, of course, we have returning Tom Hiddleston, Chris as Loki, Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Natalie Portman as Jane Foster, Anthony Hopkins as Odin, Stellan Skarsgård as Eric Selvig, Idris Elba as Heimdall. We've got Christopher Eccleston making his MCU debut as Malekith. He is best known as the Ninth Doctor on Doctor Who. Though he was in The Leftovers. I really enjoyed him in The Leftovers. Let's see, he did a lot of work with Danny Boyle. He was in Shallow Grave.
Is he an African American actor?
No.
Okay.
He is a white British dude. Yeah.
Well, there's an African American British actor in The Leftovers, and he was on Peep Show. Really funny guy.
Oh yeah, no, that guy. No, he was like the pastor in it was season 2, I think, of The Leftovers.
If I was the producer on The Leftovers, I would have cast Meatloaf. What were you going to say?
He was in the first season as well.
Was he? But
Yeah.
he was more featured in the second one, right?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah. Because he was like a pastor with that church that was like where the girls disappeared and all.
And they smoke all the time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the smokers. Anyways, that was no, it wasn't the smokers he was with. He like came up against the smokers at some point. I don't know. It's been a few years since I watched that.
He was in the Jets.
Yeah. So yeah, but let's see. He was in Shallow Grave.
Sorry.
Existence, Gone in 60 Seconds. Oh, so we'll be seeing him again soon. That is our monthly movie this month.
Great.
Shallow Grave is great. He was in 28 Days Later. Ooh, G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra.
That's right. He was Destro.
Oh my God, he was Destro?
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah.
Brian and I were discussing him yesterday after work. We were trying to figure out how many doctors we had in the Marvel universe. And
well, is Jessica Jones MCU still?
Yeah.
It's made by Marvel.
I mean, it was made by Marvel. You included
we included that. So
Okay.
David Tennant as Purple Man. What was his name again?
Kilgrave,
yeah.
And Christopher Eccleston, and then with Suicide Squad we have Peter Capaldi.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
that's DC.
That's
Oh,
DC.
dang
That's DC.
Okay.
Well, but for us on the show, we're gonna have Capaldi. We already had Peter Cushing too. We were talking about Cushing.
Who's-
yesterday, too.
What's
Capaldi
Capaldi going to be?
In Suicide
He was in-
Squad.
He was the brain.
Oh, he was the brain guy, but is Capaldi
No, he
in the
wasn't.
MCU?
No. We got confused.
Oh, but on the
yeah.
show.
we will have
Yeah.
Yeah,
3
for
doctors
us,
on this
yeah.
show.
I
And
think that dude's name is John O'Hare, the brain guy from Suicide Squad.
Oh.
It wasn't Capaldi, I don't think.
No, Peter Capaldi was in the
that is
Suicide
Capaldi.
Squad. The new The Suicide Squad, not Suicide Squad. That was Peter
Yeah, I know.
Capaldi.
Okay.
but then we found out that Matt Smith is slated to be in Morbius.
Yes. Yeah, so that will be 4 of the 5 new doctors.
And then I only just found out that Peter Cushing was Doctor Who in a Doctor Who movie, not one of the TV shows. Brian told me that.
What? Peter Cushing played a doctor?
Yeah. I thought you told me that, Thoreau, but
Not that
there
I
you go.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, BBC made movies back in the 60s.
Huh. That's crazy.
But he's not included in like the lineup of
the doctors.
Of the doctors, yeah.
Huh. Interesting. So all right, we've got playing Curse, I am going to so butcher this name, and I apologize to everybody. Let's see. Adewale Akanayu Abedze. And I, again, apologize for my pronunciation of that. So he was in The Mummy Returns, Born Identity. He was Killer Croc in Suicide Squad. And he was Malco in Game of Thrones. Season 5. So let's see. We've got back as Darcy. Every time I go to a different page, I have to go back to the cast. So
Kat Dennings.
Kat Dennings is Darcy. Yes, thank you. There we are. Kat Dennings back as Darcy. Chris O'Dowd.
Delightful as always.
Yeah, loved her seeing her back. She was kind of the best part of the movie, I thought.
I did not realize that she is in a romantic relationship with Andrew WK, and they're getting married.
Oh wow!
Wow,
that's really cool.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's actually a celebrity couple that makes me happy.
You know what celebrity couple made me very sad? Is
it J-Lo and Ben Affleck again?
Well, yeah, absolutely. But the fact that John Mulaney got Olivia Munn pregnant while he was getting divorced from his wife and in rehab made me very sad.
Good for him.
I'm going to see him next month.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, no, I'd love to see him live. This past year has been a roller coaster for that dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Addiction is brutal.
Yeah, it is. All right, so yeah, Ray Stevenson as Volstagg, Zachary Levi as Fandral.
I found out that Zachary Levi was actually slated to play Fandral in the first movie, but he didn't or couldn't because of obligations to the show Chuck.
Oh, that makes sense. He replaced Joshua Dallas. Joshua Dallas couldn't reprise the role because of his commitment to Once Upon a Time, the series.
Oh. Who was he on that?
I don't know.
Sorry.
Why don't you look it up and tell us, Al?
I'll do that.
Okay. Zachary Levi, of course, best known as Chuck. He's and he plays Shazam.
Yep.
We'll be seeing him again there. I hadn't realized it was, I guess I hadn't realized, I wasn't really aware too much of Zachary Levi in 2013. I mean, I'd seen Chuck, but I don't think I was like, oh yeah, Zachary Levi.
I didn't even realize it until I watched all the way through the movie and saw him in the credits. And then I couldn't unsee him. But just with the blonde and the blonde hair and the blonde mustache.
Like the Errol Flynn kind of look. Yeah. So Tananobu Asano as Hogun. 30 fabulous seconds of Hogun that this film had. Jamie Alexander is back as Lady Sif. Renee Russo is back as Frigga. Alice Krieg portrayed here.
Okay, I've got a Josh Dallas update.
Thank God.
And Andrea sent it via message. So he was like the main guy. David Nolan was his Earth name, but he was Prince Charming. Prince James Charming, King David. So a lot of sort of the same but different characters. Kind of thing. He was married to Snow White. Josh Dallas. He was the Fandral from the first Thor movie.
Okay.
So he was a big part of Once Upon a Time. I could see how they couldn't drag him away.
Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, I can't believe
mouse.
I did not realize that was Alice Krieg as Eir, the Asgardian physician.
The Borg Queen? Yeah,
the Borg Queen. Yeah. She had a huge career in the 70s and early 80s. Ghost Story, again, a great early 80s movie I recommend everybody watch. It's got Fred Astaire in it. Tallulah Riley was in there as a nurse, and Chris O'Dowd as Richard, the guy that
Tallulah Riley, is that the woman from Westworld? The very
she was
handsome,
in yes,
woman
it
that
is.
we meet at
Yes.
the very beginning. Yeah.
Yes, exactly, Angela.
Yeah.
And then of course Benicio del Toro's premiere as the Collector.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that as soon as that started, I was just like, wow, this looks different from the rest of the movie.
Yeah. Well, this is one of the first like double post-credit scenes, right?
Oh no,
our first MCU one.
What was the very final one?
Was the Guardians of the Galaxy scene?
No, the first one was Guardians of the Galaxy, and then the second post-credit scene was back on Earth.
Thor returning, I guess. You're
and
right.
then the big monster thing walking around
bouncing
London. Yeah.
like a puppy.
Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to watch all the way to the end now, Josh. All these movies.
I always do, but I did not.
It kept trying to like end the movie for me after the first post-credit sequence. I had to keep bringing it back up. I was like, God damn it. Disney Plus, you know there's post-credit scenes. Why do you do this?
I thought that's why they did. Now I know.
Yeah.
Like, I thought they did it. Yep. Gotcha.
Nope. Disney Plus is not your friend.
No, I knew that.
I don't believe them.
Yeah. So this movie.
No.
Anybody want to guess the movie's tagline?
They're at it again.
This time, more thunder from down under. I don't know.
Get your nuggets on November 1st.
Darkness awaits.
Al is the closest. Al is very close, actually. The tagline
we got Natalie Portman again.
Yeah.
The tagline is, "There was darkness." Period.
Wow, that's awful.
That's terrible. There was darkness. Not first there was darkness. Not like
Yeah, just there was.
Yeah.
First there was darkness is way better.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. This movie won 4 awards.
Razzies, all of them?
Nope. The Howding Award for Best Global Actor in a Motion Picture. That is Russia's Academy Awards. The Howding.
All right. I was like, how many fucking awards can they cook up?
It won the 2014 Teen Choice Award for Most Choice Movie Fight.
Most choice.
Yes. Oh no, I'm sorry. The Howding Award is not. The Howding Award is French. That's a French award. The Georges Award is the Russian National Movie Awards, and Tom Hiddleston won Best Foreign Villain of the Year.
Now that I know it's French, that other award makes so much more sense.
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth as Best Global Actor in a motion picture.
Global actor. So
and
important.
it won the Golden Schmoes Coolest Character of the Year award for Loki. The Golden Schmoes is joeblow.com. Do you guys remember that website?
Yeah.
Oh, I do.
Yeah. I was reading Joe Blow around the time I was looking at Ain't It Cool News.
Oh my God! Remember that Harry Knowles?
Oh yeah, that dude was such a big deal for a little while. This movie has 6.
Josh and I submitted applications and pictures to get tickets to that Button-a-thon that he used to.
Oh yeah.
In Austin.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. So this movie has 66% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it has over 250,000 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. I didn't really look very far, so I didn't find anything very funny. But that's about it for our background and production. Are you guys ready to jump into the film itself?
I better get my pants.
Mew.
Here we go. This is Thor, The Dark World. We open with some voiceover. Odin tells us about the Dark Elves and their evil leader Malekith, who wants to return the universe to its former state of darkness. Enigmatic, kind of loose, general darkness. He has an ancient tool called the Ether. He had to wait for the convergence, a time when all 9 worlds align.
Ooh, I hope I can get tickets.
Right? Bor, that's Odin's dad, and the Asgardians stop Malekith. So Malekith jumps into his spaceship, makes it invisible, and flies away.
Spaceship, yep.
So this isn't just cloaking, right? This is like magical.
I guess.
Cloaking.
I don't know. I guess. Otherwise, it's...
Heimdall can't really see dark elves, so is
and
this what?
He's like, I'm colorblind.
Apparently, he can't see them before they cloak either, because there was large chunks of time when they were just out in space, and then they cloak and go to Asgard. But Heimdall can see 9 trillion people over the. But
then later, it's like maybe he senses it, but when he runs up that ramp or whatever, to jump on
the
top
ship was
of it.
there, and it's I don't know.
That shit should have been made more clear.
Yeah.
Right, because if he had seen it, then he could sort of gauge its speed and the likelihood of him jumping on it. But yeah, he doesn't see it at all.
I guess he just had a feeling, or maybe he saw the absence of something.
That could be.
Or something.
He saw
I don't know.
Yeah, he saw the CGI Ripley effect.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh shit, is that a predator?"
It's a big one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Back in the long ago times, it should be mentioned that Malekith sacrificed an untold number of his people by crashing their ships into the plane of battle.
Yes.
Attempting to destroy the Asgardians as he escaped.
Yes.
And they were fighting on that planet, right? What was it called again now?
Svartalfheim.
Thank you.
Yes, I would like to point out that this is the first time we see a large melee battle between 2 forces that both possess the technology of lasers and spaceships.
Yeah,
But they're using axes and swords instead.
Yeah. Somehow cosmic, but not at all.
Yeah, and we've talked at length about that, about Asgard.
Yes.
Magical or not magical?
Well, I mean, yes, but then also they have lasers and spaceships, but they instead decide to just use axes and swords.
And I mean,
I'm with you. 100.
They're not using like technologically advanced melee weapons. They're using iron and gold plated spears and shit. Like they could be laser tipped or something.
It could be
charged up with hammers,
lightsaber style things. Sure,
yeah.
But no, they're just whacking metal stuff at each other.
And yet they have like force field technology.
Yes. So, all right. Anyways, so Bor can't destroy the ether, so he orders it, quote, buried where no man will ever find it. He does a shit job at that. The Asgardians are terrible at hiding Infinity Stones.
Yeah, this is the second one that has been found by humans.
Instantly.
Which one is this? Would you remind me?
Reality.
Stone is the ether?
Reality. Yeah. So then we get the title card. We cut to Asgard. Odin is sentencing Loki to a lifetime of imprisonment for his attempted conquest of Earth.
Was it used to alter reality in this?
Not really.
I think so.
No.
Well, I guess we'll get there. But the end of the plot that he's trying to turn reality into one of darkness by using the reality stone.
Dark.
He's just turning the contrast down and the settings on.
He seemed to mostly just be making everything dusty. That seemed to be what he was doing. I'm going to make everything dusty.
Well, in the comics, there have been a number of characters that turned the universe to darkness, like pre-existence darkness.
But what is
so? Like they're basically removing all of the things from the plane of existence and turning it back to its original state.
Okay, so but these dark elves apparently existed in that.
Yeah, which I don't understand.
So how did they come to be without stars and planets?
And we get an explanation later that Malekith created the weapon that he was using. Like Odin says that. But does that mean that he created the reality stone?
No, because they said the ether came from the dark realms before time too. So it doesn't seem like it. But also like how can you have a universe of darkness in which dark elves will exist? Because they're
like mole rats. They like to live in the dark. You know, they
A universe of darkness with no suns. If there's no like with matter, if you have matter, there's going to be some sort of light of some sort.
Well, in comic books, it's a metaphorical darkness, maybe even more than a literal. But in a movie, you're absolutely right. They don't clarify that whatsoever.
They just grew mushrooms and ate earthworms and were very happy.
That's why they're so pale.
That's why. It's like Alaska or anywhere up,
See-through. It's like Plato's allegory of the cave. Yeah, it's not at all.
So meanwhile, Thor is on Vanheim fighting orcs.
Is that where the vans come from? Is that where like minivans and things?
Vanheim, yeah.
No, it's
Vanheim.
It's Vanaheim.
Yep.
Vanaheim.
The Angels
it
play.
is Vanaheim.
Yeah, that's where the Angels play. Disneyland is there.
Yeah, he's
Vanaheim, where letters are slowly turned.
So I did a little bit of research on. Did a little bit of research on this. Vanaheim is one of the 9 realms from Norse mythology. Home of the Vanir, sister race to the Aesir of Asgard. They're similar race. Together, the Aesir and the Vanir became the Asgardians.
Okay.
Vanaheim is a more natural realm in comparison to the civilization of Asgard, the orderly city state. In comics, Lady Sif and her brother Heimdall are both of the Vanir.
Okay, but in this one it was Hogun, and Hogun decides to stay there because in the third act, when they're escaping with Loki,
we need to see him see things.
Well, yeah. Well, he had to see things, and they couldn't come up with a thing for him to do in the escape, so they decided to just get rid of him.
Yeah,
I assume that he had some sort of scheduling conflict.
Yeah, he had an eye appointment.
Right.
So yeah. Anyways, Thor's fighting orcs. Again, they have lasers and they're fighting people with spears.
Were they orcs?
I don't know. They looked like orcs. I don't know what the hell they were. They looked like orcs from Lord of the Rings, so I called them orcs.
Fucking racist.
I think they were just Vanir in like armor.
No, they were all like monstery looking.
Okay.
Southampton Veneers.
I didn't necessarily notice, except for the rock giant.
Yeah. Is that one of Korg's people?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they were also in the comics. Rock giants were not native, but they ended up dwelling in Vanaheim.
Nobody's from Vanaheim. You moved there.
It's true, actually.
It's a move to realm.
One of the it was one of Odin's brothers, or one of I think it was one of Bor's brothers who settled Vanaheim. And spawned the Vanir race.
It used to just be all orange orchards.
It's like I got the railroads here
everywhere.
Do you remember when Lady Sif was investigating the water department of Anaheim?
Chinatown, Jack.
Anyways, they do that, and then Thor goes home. Odin's all happy and like, you did a good job, Thor, but he tells him he should stop moping about Jane Foster and start dating a nice ass Guardian girl.
2 years apparently. This conversation.
Yeah, 2 years. 2 years.
And Jane's first foray out into
a solid year and a half since New York.
Is that a mere blink of an eye in the existence of the Asgardians? Do they experience time differently than we do?
In order to interact with us, I have to imagine they experience time similarly to us.
Yeah, they experience time so. Just having read some Thor comics recently that explained this, they experience time the same way that we do, but they forget shit the same way that we do. So. At a certain point, it's like, oh yeah, I can't remember any of the battles that I fought 1,000 years ago. You know.
That makes sense. But also, like, the whole Thor Jane thing.
Well, and they address it twice. Odin and Loki do that. Like, you're stupid to love a mortal. You know.
Yeah.
Like they're meat puppets. They decay and die.
They do, but also Thor's
indicates
watching her every night. The Bifrost is fixed. He's traveling around. He's like, "Oh, I'm busy saving the 9 realms." But every night when he goes home and watches her, why doesn't he jet down for half an hour to like freaking watch Modern Family with her or something?
Well, and he doesn't watch her. He asks Heimdall how she's been. So he has Heimdall watching her, which is somehow worse.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Like if he was watching
awesome
her
showering,
she would be okay with that. Yeah, but like
that's what he has.
Yeah, Heimdall's been watching you for me and telling me all about it. Don't you think she'd be a little weirded out by that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
It
Your
would
friend
in a
is-
mortal
what?
situation even.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
meanwhile on Earth, Jane is on apparently her first date. She's been moping for 2 years. 2 years. This adult, like, scientist, Harvard graduate, MIT lady has been moping about big muscle guy.
Well, once you go Norse, nothing but remorse.
Oh, I thought that was going to go a totally different direction.
Into the dark world, you're saying?
To the animal world.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyways, Jane's on a date with Chris O'Dowd. Darcy shows up, tells her that all their scientific instruments are going crazy. So Darcy's been working for free for 2 years also?
She's going to get credit. It'll be fine.
She's an intern.
Yeah.
She's an intern, but interns still need to eat and have a place to sleep.
I absolutely believe you. I was backing that up. It's hilarious.
She's been an
Still
intern for 2 years.
2 years.
At least, because she was an intern
Yeah.
before we met her.
Yeah, we don't know how long she was an intern then.
She probably
got
gets
rich
free
parents.
meals. She just stays wherever Jane stays.
She throws scenes in restaurants and then just picks up whatever's been abandoned.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's how I eat.
So yeah, she's telling
Student loans. That's what Andrea says.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, student loans.
Yeah.
That's it. If I disenroll, then I don't get
start having to pay those back.
unenroll.
Yeah. So all right. We learned that Eric Selvig went crazy. And then Jane refuses to leave at first. Eventually, she ditches Chris O'Dowd, goes with Darcy.
At this point in the MCU, why do people not believe Eric? So, like, the Avengers have already happened.
Like,
even
I feel like he would have a modicum of fame for the whole
least
Avengers
credibility.
theme.
At least credibility.
He did spend the last half of the Avengers working for Loki, doing his evil bidding. So that definitely undercuts his credibility. That being said, he did successfully open a portal through space.
I
So
feel
would
like
listen to him.
if
When
anything,
you've got
that
a
would
god
give
in
him
your
more credibility. Like,
yeah,
And he did strip naked at Stonehenge.
okay.
I mean, how else are you going
to
to be
a lifestyle choice situation?
Yeah, that's
he deserves a ticket.
That's how the ancients did it.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
You get naked
There's
and
been-
rub mud on your body and run around
That's
like an idiot.
yeah. So
There may have been more naked people in there
right.
than clothed historically.
We also meet Darcy's own intern named Ian, which that was cute. Darcy getting an intern. They go back to an abandoned building where there's some British kids. They find an anomaly. It makes trucks float. There's some portals. Ian throws away the car keys.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, so they're based in the United Kingdom now. Apparently, they don't really even.
No. So Eric Selvig was following. They briefly mentioned this offhandedly. Eric Selvig was called them to come there because he had been following readings that were emanating
Where the
from that area.
convergence-
Yeah.
yeah,
and
where the
and Jane's
convergence
mom
would happen.
lives there.
Yeah, apparently.
Okay. All
Apparently
coming
they
together.
mentioned that too. She's staying.
There.
She and Darcy are staying with her mom.
Yeah, the lab they call it, or your mom's house.
Yeah. But we don't meet her mom. I'm wondering if
No.
they cast that role or shot it and then cut it out. I don't know. So, all right. Jane accidentally wanders through a portal, ending up in Svartalfheim, where the Aether was buried, where no man may find it.
So if one of those kids had walked into that specific hallway in this abandoned building, they would have absorbed the reality stone.
They would have gotten
Yes.
the ether, yeah.
Yeah.
And nobody would have known, and they would have just kept going to the pediatrician, and they couldn't put their finger on it.
This movie is based off so many layers of coincidence that it's like becomes just unwieldy. The amount of coincidences we're expected to buy into in order for the plot to take place.
Yep.
But anyway, so the ether, whatever, senses her and is like, "Hey, Natalie Portman," and goes into her body, causing her to pass out. This causes Malekith to wake up, apparently. Or just the convergence coming. I don't know. He wakes up immediately after this.
Yeah, he's getting ready.
Because the reason the portals exist is the convergence. I've thought about this for way too long.
Well, and he does say the convergence approaches.
Yeah. Well, and they say that it happens, once every
5,000 years.
5,000 years.
5,000. Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't Thor 10,000 years old? Or is he?
I don't know.
I forget. I thought at some point they said his age, but maybe it's later on.
I don't know. I don't remember. I'm sure they said his age at some point, but I don't remember.
Yeah, because if the convergence was 5,000 years ago, that makes Asgardian history so short.
Yeah.
Which is really weird to me.
Yeah.
I don't know why it wouldn't be 50,000 years or something.
Yeah. Yes, it very much does. Well, I mean, there's only been 2 kings of Asgard so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they only live about 2,500 years each.
That's it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, on Asgard, Thor hangs out with Heimdall, who tells them about the convergence. He does it. I have been noticing more and more the farther into this show we get, the little tropes that I never really paid much attention to previously. This has the one where a character walks in and the other character says, "Remember what I told you about this thing," and then proceeds to re-explain the thing to them for the audience's benefit.
Yep.
Yeah. So Heimdall does that. And then they watch Jane for a bit because Thor's been spying on her. And he's like, "I can't see her." And Thor's like, "Oh, shit."
I've been doing the laziest form of stalking there is, having my buddy keep an eye on you.
Yeah.
And Heimdall just happened to be watching Jane at the moment that she stepped through the portal. Because otherwise he might have been watching one of the other trillions of souls.
Yeah.
Or maybe he felt it. He seems to have
no, because Thor shows up and he asked about Jane, and Heimdall's like, "Oh, wait, I can't find her."
Yeah.
Just before that, Heimdall was entranced with the beauty of the convergence, the upcoming convergence, the dangerous beauty that he saw.
Idris Elba.
Sounds like a music festival that Apple would put on.
The convergence. Yeah. Idris Elba was criminally underused in both the first two, even Ragnarok a little bit, but criminally underused in the MCU. Heimdall was a waste of Idris Elba, especially after watching The Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
I mean, we know what he can do.
Yeah. Anything he wants.
Yeah.
Jane wakes up in London, where she learns that she was asleep for 5 hours. Thor shows up. Jane's mad that he was gone for 2 years. She does the slapping thing.
She slaps Thor and Loki in this movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that break her hand?
Yeah, but also, I don't know, just the girl slapping the lead because she's mad at him is like, come on, guys. Right. Enough. It's still assault. Even if it's a little girl doing it to a big man.
Yeah, it was uncalled for.
It's a worn out trope.
Yeah, it is. It needs to end. Thor shows up and so blah, blah, blah. She forgives him because he was busy helping the 9 realms and such. The police try to arrest Jane, but she causes an explosion. So Thor's like, "Oh shit, that's some ether," and takes her to Asgard.
Oh shit.
Meanwhile,
who wants to go on a Bifrost ride?
What? She has a
second only to a mustache. Right.
Thor gives her like a pink helmet and like his he wears a shirt that says, "If you can read this, then
Bitch fell.
oh, bitch." Meanwhile, Malekith returns to Svartalfheim and vows revenge on the Asgardians. Why is he even returning the universe to darkness at this point? Like at a certain point, it's like him and 12 dudes.
Well, and why does he go to Svartalfheim?
Because it is the dark elf home.
Right, which is dark.
Does he need to go back there for any reason? Does he do anything while he's on this planet?
Nope. He just goes there and he's
he left his laptop.
Right? Well, he's like, oh, I left my charger at home. I need to go back.
He goes there. Well, and he picks up the sand and he's like, I'll get you Asgard for this. So it's like, you're mad. So you personally destroyed most of your own civilization in trying to defeat the Asgardians. And then when you go back 5,000 years later, you're mad because there's nothing there.
Well, he has the confusing ethos of being against peace.
Also, I don't understand.
That's really open for a lot.
I don't understand the Asgardian version of Conquest. They destroyed the Dark Elves and left their planet in its condition. Like, you can still see the battered ships and all the stuff, hanging out.
Yeah.
Don't you think they'd be like, we're going to put an Asgardian colony on this thing?
Yeah, that would make sense.
Like we're going to use it to put these feuding groups or something.
But also, all of Svartalfheim seems to exist within like a 10-mile radius. Everything on that planet happens in one spot.
It's like Pluto.
Yeah. So maybe the other side of the planet's totally fine. And there's like dark elves happily living their lives.
The light side of Svartalfheim.
Yeah. They just keep happening to go to like the beach of like Normandy Beach part of Svartalfheim.
Maybe there is no other side like
Asgard?
No, we saw it. We saw it from space. It is a big round planet. It's a regular looking planet from space.
See, that's what they want you to think. It's actually a disc.
It's flat.
Svartalfheim is flat. Flat Svartalfheim.
Flat Svartalfheim.
True.
I'm a flat Svartalfheim truther.
That's fantastic. That's the kind of protesting I can get behind. You just make a fucking sign instead. Somewhere. Why isn't life as wacky as it could be?
Okay, so back on Asgard, Jane's being examined by healers. Odin's like, nuh-uh, take her away. But after she does another big explosion thing, he realizes it's the ether inside her.
Odin walks into this scientific research facility. Also, Jane asks, is this a quantum field generator? And they're like, I guess so, whatever. But Odin walks in and waves his hands and turns off this technology. He is the most fascist king ever. He's like, oh, you're doing scientific research that you are all deeming to be very important? Nope.
Yeah.
Everyone has an NDR.
God. I don't understand this at all.
No, Odin's just a grumpy old bitch.
He is a wise old king. He should say, get some answers and send her ass packing once you get them.
So, I mean, I realized in this film, that the MCU has a real Odin problem.
Yeah.
And that they don't know what the fuck to do with this character because he's way too powerful. So they have to keep sidelining him. In the first one, they put him to sleep for most of the movie. In this one, they make him against anything Thor wants to do just so that he can be out of the way. Mm-hmm. And when Thor goes on his thing, Odin isn't mad and come after him. Odin's like, well, I guess Thor's off doing something I don't want him to do. I'll just hang out here.
And then Loki locks him in that,
Right. And in the third movie, they literally kill him in the first act. So at least Taika Waititi was straightforward about it. Like, Odin, get him out of here.
Well, and there are story reasons in the overarching Marvel universe that make sense for that, because you need him to not be a big threat for Thanos at some point eventually.
Yes.
But at the same time, he could have ridden a horse to Svartalfheim. I got to get that other F in there. and like been there for the final battle and found his son dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Or like his chariot of goats.
Yeah. I thought he rode a Pegasus.
Maybe it was. Someone has a chariot of goats. Maybe it's Loki.
Thor rides a goat.
Who rides a goat?
Rams.
They're
rams.
They're rams. But yeah, Thor rides basically a goat.
Someone has a chariot pulled by goats, and I can't remember who it is in Norse mythology.
When Thor doesn't have the hammer, before he gets the hammer in the comics, he has the goats.
It was kind of fun knowing what we know, that that's the day that like Lebowski, Thor, and Rocket show up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's
They're on another part of they're in another corridor.
Yeah, doing their stuff. Yeah.
He's talking them up, trying to give him a pep talk.
Yeah. So then meanwhile, so Odin gives him the whole backstory on the Dark Elves, and he's like, but they're all dead. Then Malekith makes one of his guys into Curse, so he's now real super strong. The Curse guy sneaks in. How does he get into this group of prisoners?
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
I thought they were coming from Vanaheim, but they could have been coming from some other
San Bernardino.
Yeah, they could have been.
Malibu Beach.
Yeah.
But yeah, they snuck him in on off Asgard
somehow. I don't know.
He got busted in a sting
in one of
at
the
a porno house.
Did they portal him there, or did they fly the ship there and like drop him off and like leave him with like a here's your lunch, see you in a week?
Right.
Like, I wish that we had seen some more of that rather than him just walking in the Bifrost
with everybody else,
and then walking into jail.
And did you notice that?
Suspicious how cooperative that giant thing was.
Well, and also, did you notice that all of the Asgardians show up with these prisoners, and none of the prisoners are like tied up or cuffed or anything? They're just walking among them. You can't even tell who's Asgardian and who's a prisoner.
Yeah,
Same.
They're cracking wise.
So yeah, he gets put in the dungeon, and none of the other prisoners are like, we don't know this dude. He's not with us.
Right? Yeah. If you're that cooperative with your captors, you'd think you'd have some sort of rapport where you'd be like, we didn't fight with him.
And
there were even some dudes that looked like Ravagers.
Yeah. Well, and
not this guy, but there were also prisoners.
Yeah.
They had the weird ponytail that comes in.
But also, why are the Asgardians taking these randos prisoner? Like, why are they not imprisoning them on the planets they're from or something? Like, why are they bringing them back to Asgard?
How did they acquire them?
Yeah.
Was it in battle? Are they already battling? Yeah, it wasn't told.
Who knows?
Loki was alone in that prison before all of this.
Yeah.
Right? At least we're led to believe that he's like, there's not people being like, boo, it's the queen.
Well, yeah,
you suck.
You'd think that the Asgardians like dungeon would be for like very important political prisoners. It's not for all the rando orc dudes they capture.
Yeah, that's county jail type situation.
Yeah.
So anyways, he gets put in the dungeon. Meanwhile, Loki and Frigga have an argument in his cell. Thor explains the convergence to Jane. They kiss. She meets Frigga. Then in his cell, the dark elf gets all lava-y and busts out.
This I also don't understand. Like, what?
Yes.
He punches.
How do you punch an energy field?
And break it.
Yes, by punching the energy field.
Apparently, Asgard's like force field technology isn't great. We see that in a little bit. It's like, why didn't you call Wakanda?
Right. No one can get through that shit. Yeah.
I got the impression
leave it on all the time. Sorry.
I got the impression that the cursed stone that he uses, and we saw previously 5,000 years ago, activates a little bit of the ether.
All right.
Wait, is there some ether in him then?
I think so. The ether glows red.
But wait, did we? So wait.
Have done the little wiggle before he.
I had no idea the curse thing was at all connected to the ether. I thought it was like a separate power that he had in this, like a separate thing.
I thought they were related.
Huh.
I could be wrong, but the color scheme matched.
I mean, I'll buy it. But
if he's has the power of bending reality. Sure, not the full Infinity Stone ether power, but just a little chunk of it. I could see how punching through a force field would not be too hard.
Yeah.
Feeling a little ethery today.
All right. I mean, I guess. So anyways, he breaks a bunch of guys out. And then they do a big prison break. There's a big fight. Loki directs him upstairs, as presumably to Odin's chamber, I imagine.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, upstairs, Jane and Frigga go hide in her chambers while Thor and Odin and everybody fight the escaped prisoners.
Oh, it may have been directions to the trophy room. Maybe. Tesseract and all that jazz. Okay.
It could be.
Oh, yeah, he had to go shut down the force field first.
Mm.
Oh.
So yeah,
Okay. Sorry.
there's all that big fight. Malekith comes in his cloaked ship. They take down the force field. Malekith ends up killing Frigga. Thor shows up, gives him the Two-Face. And you notice half of his face got burnt, and he didn't start flipping a coin.
Notice that. He's all y'all motherfuckers.
He never once started making like he didn't start drinking 2 glasses of wine at once. He didn't wear a suit. Yeah, he didn't get 2 girlfriends. He didn't have a suit that was in half. Very disappointing. Anyways, he doesn't get the ether. He gets Curse grabs Malekith, gets into the ship, and they fly away. It gets invisible, and and Odin's like, well, that's all done with. No need to do anything else.
Yep.
So Malekith later on in the movie teleports people, not like Doctor Strange, but through little portal things that open up.
Portals. Yeah.
I don't think that he was doing that at will.
Oh, that was just the
those
convergence
things that Selbig had.
Yeah, those were the space blurs.
Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, I don't understand why he didn't teleport at all in this movie, if that's a power of his.
Yeah, I think it was
this would have been a great moment to teleport.
Yeah, I think it was just the convergence thing that gave him teleport powers later.
They didn't give him the full dark elf treatment.
Like when he gets the ether and everything, then you can do that stuff.
Then you get the power.
Yeah, first you get the ether. Then you get the power. All right, so then there's Frigga's funeral. This was beautiful. I mean, it was some really gorgeous imagery.
The Viking funeral.
Yeah.
For sure.
The music in this movie is some of the best music that they've done.
It really was good, and let's see. The music, by the way, was by Brian Tyler.
Oh, this is the guy who did Guardians of the Galaxy's music too.
Yeah, he does a lot. He's done a lot of movies, but
Also, by the by, it was Thor who had the chariot of goats.
It was Thor. Okay.
His goats' names were Tangrisnir and Tangyoster, which can be translated into teeth bearer and teeth grinder.
Huh. Also, what you drink in space.
Yeah. So
that's how he brought the thunder, right? He would ride the chariot through the clouds.
Yeah.
All right.
So back on Earth, Eric Selvig is in a mental hospital, raving about how all the 9 realms will open up, a bunch of wormholes to each other, but he has these spikes that will control the wormholes with a device. We cut back to Asgard. Thor has a plan to go to Svartalfheim, lure out...
Oh, cameo by Stan Lee.
Oh, yeah. We get the Stan Lee cameo in the mental hospital.
The shoe?
Yeah.
I have my shoe back?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. So Thor's plan is to go lure out Malekith with the ether and then just beat him up. That is Thor's plan.
That's his plan.
It's a very Thor.
Not great at making plans.
No, it's a very Thor plan, honestly.
Yeah.
Odin's against it.
But he doesn't make good plans, right down from chopping Thanos' head off to like, we'll We'll just go to the collector and get it. We'll just go to this split. Yeah.
Yeah. No, his plan is like, I'm just going to go do a thing right now. That's his plan.
Yep.
Yeah. So Odin's against it and refuses to let Thor do it. Back on Earth, Darcy and Ian see a news story about Eric, so they go to get him. Back in Asgard, Heimdall agrees to help Thor with his plan. The Warriors 2 and Lady Sif agree to help also since the one dude is still on the other planet doing nothing.
Yeah.
And let's see, Thor frees Loki, who agrees to help in order to avenge Frigga's death, for which he feels partly responsible. They put their plan into action. Heimdall distracts Odin while Thor and Loki steal a ship, which is also a distraction, and then they get onto another smaller ship and use Loki's secret path out of Asgard, which apparently can go directly to Svartalfheim.
Yeah. And they don't mention it, but they have to make sure that Natalie Portman doesn't get sad.
Or she'll die.
Kill her.
Yes. I saw there was a quote I saw by her recently where she was talking about how after The Professional, she had such a terrible experience with the media and fandom that she that informed the entire rest of her career. Like she was talking about how like there were radio DJs that she would hear that were counting down to her 18th birthday. She opened up like her first fan letter, and it was from like a 45-year-old man talking about how he wanted to rape her. And she was instantly like, okay, I am never going to sexualize myself. I'm going to go get a degree. I am going to only talk about like the craft. It immediately changed everything about how she dealt with her fame and her career.
Well, she's nothing but class.
Yeah, she's awesome. I
think she brings up any. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Natalie Portman. I don't always love her acting work in everything she's in, but I don't feel like that's often her fault. I feel like it's often George Lucas's fault.
Yeah. I read that same clip.
Line.
And that was a really interesting thing to read. But it says something about her too, that she's still willing to engage with things like Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, she was 18, 19, right?
Yeah, around there when she did Star Wars
came out.
Yeah.
But then the I'm sure that experience got worse after being, you know, Luke and Leia's mom kind of thing. And,
oh God.
And she's very sexualized in the second and third ones because there's no bras in space kind of thing. But the fact that she would then come and do a Thor movie and then do the sequel, I think that hopefully we will see all of that kind of come to some positive end with her experience in the Thor movies, at least with Love and Thunder.
Right. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I really,
I am
her
too.
character got really screwed in these first two Thor movies, and I'm really looking forward to Jane being done right in Love and Thunder.
Yeah, I'm sure she looked at the source material and went, yeah, I'll play Jane Foster, and then got the script and went, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Why is this, you know,
why do I
just
spend
a side love interest?
And all I do is like, oh, Thor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just occurred to me recently that like, okay, so she had an Infinity Stone inside her. That same thing made Captain Marvel.
Right.
Having an Infinity Stone, like, like that's. I have a feeling that that's going to come into play in Love and Thunder.
Yeah, I don't want to get too much into speculation, but in the comics, she has cancer.
Yeah,
and at night she is Lady Thor. Or just Thor.
Well, also at one point, like, she's wielding Mjolnir, and Mjolnir impersonates her as Jane Foster in order to throw off somebody, I can't remember who it is, to throw off the trail that she's actually Lady Thor.
Probably Thor. That whole run where they're introducing her, but you don't know exactly who she is full of fake outs. It's pretty great,
right? But at a certain point, Mjolnir is just sentient, just being Jane Foster.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Josh.
It should. I don't know if you guys have heard. He's a fairly new villain, but Gore the God Butcher.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be in Love and Thunder.
It's Christian Bale.
Christian Bale, yeah.
Christian Bale. Yeah, so he might have some revelations.
Yeah, that's Thor: Love and Thunder is one of the upcoming Marvel things I'm most looking forward to.
I'm really curious how they're going to fit those two storylines into the Gore storyline. Anyways,
but
there's
it may
a lot of backstory to that.
It may mint Jane, whether it's the Infinity Stone or whatever it is, but he only kills gods. That's his whole deal.
Yeah.
He hates gods, quote unquote. So she may attain god status.
Okay. So all right. Anyway, so they arrive on Svartalfheim. Loki and Thor argue for a bit. Then Malekith wakes up from his healing, senses the ether. Back on Earth, Darcy and Ian get Eric out of police custody. They go to the lab to get to work because there's starting to be more anomalies. On Svartalfheim, meanwhile, they meet up with Malekith. Thor lets Loki out of his handcuffs. Loki stabs Thor, cuts off his hand, and gives Jane and the ether to Malekith. Just as he draws the ether out of Jane, though, it's revealed to have all been an illusion, Michael. And Loki and Thor rescue. Let's see. Loki and Thor rescue Jane. Thor tries to destroy the ether. He's like, if I just shoot lightning at it, that'll destroy it.
Right. Well, it's ether ore.
It doesn't work. Malekith sucks it all up and leaves. Well, his guys fight Loki and Thor. They kill Curse, but Loki gets stabbed during the battle and dies in Thor's arms.
They kill him. They have to kill him with one of the implosion grenades, which I don't think we mentioned.
No, we didn't.
Up until this point, they were using them a lot back on Asgard. The Dark Elves were. But yeah, they
create Loki mini black holes or something.
Yeah, that's it.
And Thor had to save Loki from one just before this. But yeah, Loki ran him through with a spear, and it apparently did nothing.
Oh. And then the hug. That was intense. That was great. You just hugged somebody into the giant sword that's impaled you, even if it did work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the last moment thing. Hardcore.
Yeah.
I loved it. I also love that this scene is word for word the script in Ragnarok that Loki has made his play out of.
Yes.
Revisiting this it has changed the context of this completely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we get the funeral music. We get the same funeral music when they push Frigga out into the whatever.
That's true.
Yeah.
Space dust.
Da, 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 da. Yeah, the cheesy choir thing.
So then it gets all dusty. Thor and Jane go to a cave, which coincidentally is the same cave that had the ether. So they didn't actually bury the ether. They just put it in a cave.
Sounds like the work of bears.
Yeah, did they put it on Svartalfheim then?
Yes, they put it on Svartalfheim.
I don't think this was the same cave because the ether was in a big cavernous chamber on a ledge. This was a much smaller cave. It was connected to where they were because we found the soda can and why are there so many shoes in here? And the car keys.
Okay,
but it was not the same space
that the ether was in. Okay,
yeah.
So that means the coincidence was just that the portal opened up to where the ether is, not that they also happened to go to where the ether is in this scene. Earlier, Jane's portal went to the ether, which of all the places in all the 9 realms a portal can go, is the most convenient for the plot of this film.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyways, so blah blah blah. They go into the cave. Jane gets a call from Chris O'Dowd, which wasn't. I believe her number is 8675-324-89863285-1.
Yeah, for a weird time call.
Yeah. I'll put this over here with the rest of the fire. They find a portal back to Earth, and the keys to the car. Thor sitting in a car is great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just that little tiny car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
and he asks who Richard is.
yeah, who's Richard?
Really?
Anyways, I again noticed how often Natalie Portman was standing eye to eye with Chris Hemsworth despite being 1.5 feet shorter than him.
Yeah. It's convenient.
Yeah. So they go back to the lab. They reunite with Darcy and Eric. Eric's
Is this where there was one particularly funny scene? Is it right here where it's like Jane, Eric,
That's later.
Darcy? Well, all right, proceed.
Yeah. But no, this is where Eric's glad to see Thor, and he's like, Loki isn't here, is he?
That's right. Loki died on the field or something.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, no, Loki died out there. And he's
Loki's
like,
dead.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, he's so happy. Yeah.
But immediately apologetic. I'm sorry for your loss. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's the way Loki's afraid of the Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back on Svartalfheim, we see an Asgardian soldier, a little bit of a green glow around the edges, who then goes to Odin to tell him that Loki is dead and looks shifty. On Earth, they come up with a plan. Selvig does the thing. He pushes everything off a table and puts a map down and draws lines, and there where all the lines converge.
Luckily, right where we are.
I'm sorry, this is way back. But did we discuss Loki changing into all the changing into the guard and then changing Thor into Sif, and then he changes into Captain America?
We forgot to mention the Chris Evans cameo. Yeah.
Chris Evans playing Loki, pretending to be Captain America, was so spot on.
It was so good. That was so good.
Let's have a raving conversation about patriotism or whatever he said.
God bless America.
But the confidence.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. That I have to say, Chris Evans came a long way from playing Johnny Storm.
Oh yeah.
Yes. He's become an actor.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like watching him playing Loki, playing himself. It felt like watching him playing Johnny Storm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The cocky self-assuredness. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, all right. They do the map thing, which someday I'm going to sweep everything off a table, lay down a map, and just start drawing lines on it.
I do it every day.
I've got plans. Yeah, you do it every day. Yeah.
So, all right. They figure out the convergence is going to happen at Greenwich. So they go there and they put up Selvig's spiky things, which are going to control the convergence. Just as Malekith arrives in his ship, which apparently just goes into the ground partway.
Yeah.
I thought about this. It's like, oh, that's silly. Why does it come horizontally? And I think they must just not have had like vertical thrusters. Like it had to plant itself in the ground.
Oh.
But it didn't have vertical thrusters so it could like drop down, like thrust down into the ground. So it had to go horizontally from the edge of the river.
So it's like a shark. It has to consistently be moving. Yeah. Because if you stop, you're kind of screwed.
Did they ever mention London as far as destruction? You know, like they mentioned Sokovia and Lagos.
Well, I remember there was a thing about it in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I don't remember anything from any of the films.
That's right. Yeah, Sif, around the time of this movie, what's her name? Jamie Alexander?
Yeah, I think it was
she cameoed in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I think it was in season 2. She like shows up and they were talking about the London destruction and everything. Yeah,
that's the first time we see a Kree.
Oh,
we see a Kree in Guardians or in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. before we see them in Guardians.
That's right.
Far out.
So this moment also got me thinking about if this is the site of the convergence and the alignment, if it was also like on Earth 5,000 years ago. Is that how we indirectly got Greenwich Mean Time?
Yeah, I mean,
Like this is a central point, and it was just in the human subconscious
that's where it.
Selective.
I mean, it would make sense. That would make sense. Also, it's weird. I thought so. Why? I guess what makes Midgard so important? Because they say the 9 realms converge around Midgard.
It's
in
in
the
the middle.
one in the middle, yeah.
Oh,
but
Midgard.
It's in the name.
All right.
5,000 years ago, they were doing their stuff on Svartalfheim, not Midgard.
Yeah,
Doing their thing.
that's
Well,
where
they
the
were-
battle is taking place.
They were
battle.
fighting on. Maybe there was some skirmish on Earth also, but
Maybe he had yet to transport to Midgard to get to the central point to do his thing.
That could
before
be.
they stole the ether.
Yeah, they just got there
Yeah.
fast enough. Huh. But yeah, makes sense. So all right, they Malekith shows up. Thor and Malekith face off. They fight while Darcy, Eric, and Jane and Ian start the machine and start doing the wormhole thing. Where they start making Malekith
Space blurs.
Yeah, space blurs.
Technically speaking.
Okay,
Yeah.
they do that. Thor and Malekith's battle goes on. They portal around between the 9 realms. There's a thing with some airplanes, some jets that are trying to that go.
2 F-16s disappear
Yeah,
to another planet.
but then they come back afterwards. At the end, they get back to Earth.
Oh.
Darcy and Ian do some kissing. The big monster thing comes through.
Yeah, because Ian picked up a car and slammed it on 3 dark elves
Yeah.
to save her life.
Yep.
Yep.
That's all it takes is to win the heart of Darcy.
It was very, I don't know, very mini Hulk when he just had the bumper in his hand and just
Yeah.
tossed it aside.
Yeah.
It was cute.
It was. So
And this is where Josh.
Yeah, like Jane, Eric, Darcy, Ian, Mjolnir as it whips by them.
Darcy, Jane, Ian, Eric, Mew Mew.
Oh, right.
that's right. She says Mew Mew.
says
She
it weird.
calls it Mew Mew, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
even
reminds me
better.
of, have you seen, what's his name? Scott Lang?
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd trying to say Mjolnir. I can't even say it now. Mjolnir.
Mjolnir.
Yeah, there's like 30 seconds of him just struggling to say the word Mjolnir, and he just can't do it.
That reminds me.
He is
Did you guys watch
delightful.
the newest What If?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't want. We're
Oh,
on air,
yeah.
so I don't want to do two spoilers really for.
Wingardium
Pretty damn
Leviosa.
fun.
But yeah, that was a good. That was a good one.
Yeah, they did Marvel Zombies so well.
But the Mew thing was a fun callback to the first movie.
It was.
From
Yep.
the first movie.
It was definitely.
She still can't say it.
No. So, right. So they do all that. Then
Thor has to take the tube from Charing Cross to Greenwich.
That's right.
Yeah.
Gets felt up by that female passenger. Just a little bit.
Yeah. So yeah, and then he gets back there, and he and Jane team up to use portals to cut off Malekith's arms.
Were his arms important to him wielding the ether?
Apparently not.
He starts to grow his arms back.
Yeah, with the
Yeah.
ether, 'cause it's the Reality Stone.
Yeah, before they finally they knock him somewhere. They transport his whole body back to Svartalfheim.
Yeah, and then they do make it. Then they use one of the black hole grenades to suck him up. Right? Isn't that what happens?
No, he transports back to Svartalfheim, and then Thor is passed out on the ground, and the ship is falling, and Selvig manages to space blur the whole ship back to Svartalfheim, and it falls onto Malekith.
Oh, so he just gets crushed by the ship.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
All right, whatever.
He might not be dead.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Malekith does not matter. So then, that happens. We cut to the humans having breakfast. Jane is sure Thor will return at some point. Back in Asgard, Odin offers the kingship to Thor, but he refuses it. Thor leaves, and it's revealed that Odin is actually Loki in disguise. Roll credits. Then in the mid-credit sequence, Sif and Volstagg deliver the ether to the Collector for safekeeping. They say the words. They say Infinity Stones. First time that has been said in the MCU.
It's not safe to keep 2 Infinity Stones in one place.
Mm-hmm.
Odin refers to them as stones, and the ether is the one that's not a stone. But for them to say Infinity Stones was a big fucking deal.
Yeah, it was. So the Collector says 1 down. 5 to go.
5 to go.
Yes.
And then what was the final scene?
And then after the rest of the credits, it's just Jane eating breakfast. Thor returns. They make out. And then we see the big monster just like wandering around an empty lot in London, like kind of jumping around like a puppy.
Chasing birds.
Yeah. And that's it. Oh, and it says Thor will return. It doesn't tell us when. It doesn't say in Avengers 2 or anything. Yeah, that is it. Unanswered questions. We covered most of my unanswered questions during the thing. So let's see. Most of my unanswered questions were about darkness. But in addition to that, let's see. Why? Oh, yeah. One of the minor things. Why didn't Curse free Loki? He was freeing everybody else in the dungeon. You think he would have just freed everybody, including Loki? He didn't know who Loki was. He just saw he was a prisoner.
He walks up to the cell, and what does Loki say?
Well, he walks up to the cell. He decides not to free him, and Loki says, "You might want to take the stairs to the left." Why didn't Malik?
He doesn't say something before the stair thing? I thought he said something that made the dude like walk back down the steps.
I don't remember.
Okay, probably not.
I don't know.
I believe.
Yeah. Everything else, let's see, we covered in this.
Maybe it was because he didn't look like much of a fighter. He's trying to sow chaos. I don't know. He was like, you look puny.
Yeah, I buy that.
Yeah, makes sense.
He's kind of an 18th century dandy. So
yeah, right. He is.
He is. Yeah,
he's got like books and oak furniture in his cell.
Yeah. Yes. Decorated.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's it. I don't know. You guys have any final thoughts before we rank the thing?
No.
It just suffered in the second and third act. Like the second to third act transition got real bad.
It did, and
I don't know, it slowed down around the funeral for Frigga, and then never picked back up again until the very, very end.
Yeah, well, and it was just boring. Malekith was the most boring. He's like the poster child for the problem the MCU had with villains for the longest time, and in the first and second phases especially. Well,
and it was another thing that reminded me of a Star Trek movie. He kind of seemed like the Eric Bana character.
Yeah. It was like that kind of thing.
Right, like we're supposed to be so intimidated by this guy. We've never... Yeah. Reminded me of that, plus the ships.
Frigga would have taken him down if Curse hadn't shown up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just not very... He was a terrible villain. Christopher Eccleston deserved better. It was boring.
Well, yeah, I mean, he did fine, but yeah.
The movie in general was very boring.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I don't think I was as bored as you guys. I don't know.
I watch this movie pretty regularly because I can not pay attention to it and have it on in the background to like study new stuff.
I didn't hate it. Just a lot of eye rolling.
But yeah, having to pay close attention to it, I was very bored.
Yeah, it was. It was what it was. It's like it is an MCU movie, so it's not terrible. It just doesn't
Right,
live
like-
up to the better MCU movies in any way.
Like Iron Man 2. That was my
Yeah,
All right.
very much so. So,
rank. That
all right,
bitch.
let's see the ranking.
The 30s, right?
Let's see. I've got, where are we here?
40s.
We've The Incredible Hulk is our lowest ranked MCU film at number 39.
Other than that,
The first Thor we have at number 12. Not as good as that.
And you likened it to Iron Man 2, Josh, which is that's at 17.
Right. I
put
don't
it around there.
I don't think I could put this above X-Men or Batman Returns or Blade.
Yeah, Blade was my
I guess you're
cutoff
right.
point.
You're right.
I don't know
It's not as good as Swamp Thing.
it's not.
It's not.
I don't think it's as good as The Crow. I don't think I could put it above Superman 2.
No.
I think it's better than the Wolverine, though.
Well, what about?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's better than. Oh, yeah. It's better than that.
It is better than the Wolverine.
It's better than Blade 2. It's better than Superman Returns.
Yeah. Yeah.
So after Superman 2?
What do you think, Brian and Al?
I like it. It doesn't have a Mind song, so yeah, it's got to be below Superman 2.
Yep. Gotta be below.
Yeah.
It also doesn't have porn.
No.
So it's under Orgazmo.
Definitely. Al?
Works for me.
All right. We will put it there. Thor.
And there it will be.
It has
Except
been
that it's-
written.
Except that it's above Mystery Men.
I mean,
But that's okay.
again,
Yeah, this is a part of a bigger universe, so it was satisfying.
our list is,
Well, we list superhero movies. I think Mystery Men's a great comedy, regardless of the superhero costumes and shit.
yeah. I mean, it is. It is.
But this is a bit better superhero movie. I mean, it's Thor.
And yeah, and it has a lot of key links to
Yep.
the before and the after.
Yeah,
it does.
Loki's
The
development.
broader universe.
Being and having the character of Loki in it is almost like having a ringer. I mean, Tom Hiddleston's Loki is just always phenomenal.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, that is it.
It's funny. The first time I watched this, many years ago, I completely forgot watching it. I remember watching it, I just forgot what it was. The second time I watched it, I didn't realize that it was Christopher Eccleston until the very end when I saw the credits, much like Zachary Levi. The last time I watched it, I couldn't not see Christopher Eccleston.
It's his voice too. Like I just kept hearing the Doctor.
Yeah. But in contrast to Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston, I can't not see Thor and Loki. Like they are just those characters.
Absolutely, yeah. No matter what else they're in, yeah.
They're beyond those. They're beyond themselves now.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's like Mark Hamill and Luke Skywalker. It's like they've become an iconic figure.
Yeah.
And it's not like Robert Downey Jr., who had a couple decades of film work prior, so, you can see him as
had to bring their
So
anyway.
So that's it, which means we are done with Thor the Dark World. Next week on Harmless Phosphorescence, we will be talking about Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Wow, they released that close to each other.
They did. It was like, what, 6 months apart, 5-6 months apart, and there wasn't a superhero release in between them.
Wow. One of the worst and one of the best right next to each other.
So, join us next week for that, everybody. Thank you all for listening and watching. This has been your host, Throw Smiley, and I've got to go. I have to go get my intern an intern.
Okay. I'm Josh CC, and I can get you out of here through a big rock butthole.
Okay, time to go. Lots to do. I'm Brian Lesh.
I'm Alaric Weber, and goats are welcome at my banquet table.
That's good to know, Al. I'm going to keep that in mind. Thanks, everybody. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.